everybody. Welcome to the Chenaniah Report. I'm Eli Wilson Jr. Today is part 2 of our series on biblical foundations of church music. In this session, we're going to take a look at how it all began.
Let me not be just a hearer of your word. Let your word not fall upon stony ground, but may it find a resting place in my heart, that I might do the things that you command. I am anxiously waiting, my heart anticipating to hear a word from you. I am anxiously waiting, my heart anticipating to hear just one word from you. I am anxiously waiting, my heart anticipating to hear just one word from you. Just one word from you.
For 20 years, the Ark of the Covenant has been resting at the house of Abinadab. After the Philistines defeated the Israelites in battle, they captured the Ark and placed it in the temple of Dagon, the god of the Philistines. Didn't work out too well for the Philistines. The presence of the Ark broke their god into pieces and caused the people to suffer serious physical maladies. For their own safety, the Philistines knew they had to rid themselves of the Ark. So their decision was to send the Ark back to its rightful place, to the Israelites. They placed the Ark on a new cart pulled by 2 never-before-yoked cows and sent it on its way while they watched the direction in which the cows led the cart. Long story short, the Ark ended up at Abinadab's house. Abinadab's son, Eleazar, was consecrated to guard the Ark. After David became king, it was his desire to bring the Ark to Jerusalem. So they did. At least they tried. Their first attempt was an abysmal failure. They planned to bring the Ark into Jerusalem with great fanfare. The scriptures say, David and the whole house of Israel was celebrating with all their might before the Lord with songs and with harps, lyres, tambourines, sistrums, and cymbals. And like the Philistines, they placed the Ark on a new cart. Uzzah and Ahio, Abinadab's sons, were given the responsibility for transporting the Ark. Uzzah guided the cart while Ahio walked in front. But they encountered a bump in the road, causing the oxen to stumble. As a result, the Ark began to slide off the cart. Uzzah reached out his hand to steady the ark, but in the sight of God, that was an irreverent act. God broke out in anger and struck Uzzah down beside that ark. David became both angry and afraid. He said, "How can the ark of the Lord ever come to me?" The celebration stopped. They all went home and left the ark at Obed-Edom's house for 3 months. But that was a second attempt. This time they were successful. David realized that trying to do things a new way is not always God's way. The ark should never have been on a cart. According to the scriptures, the ark was only to be transported on the shoulders of the Levites. In 1 Chronicles chapter 15, David said, "No one but the Levites may carry the ark of God, because the Lord chose them to carry the ark of the Lord and to minister before him forever." So David prepared a tent for the ark and called together the heads of the Levite families and instructed them to consecrate themselves and appoint their fellow musicians to sing joyful songs accompanied by musical instruments, lyres, harps, and cymbals. So they appointed Heman, son of Joel, Asaph, son of Berechiah, Ethan, son of Cushaiah, and with their brothers next in rank, Zechariah, Jaziel, Shemiramoth, Jehiel, Unai, Eliab, Benaiah, Messiah, Methathiah, Eliphilihu, Megniah, Obed-Edom, and Jael. Chenaniah, the head Levite, was in charge of the singing because he was skillful at it. All in all, this first music ministry department consisted of 18 members, 4 chief musicians, along with 14 others. 1 Chronicles chapter 15, verses 25 through 28, David said, "And the elders of Israel and the commanders of units of 1,000 went to bring up the ark of the covenant of the Lord from the house of Obed-Edom with rejoicing, because God had helped the Levites who were carrying the ark of the covenant of the Lord. 7 bulls and 7 rams were sacrificed. Now David was clothed in a robe of fine linen, as were all the Levites who were carrying the ark, and as were the musicians, and Chenaniah, who was in charge of the singing of the choirs. David also wore a linen ephod." So all Israel brought up the ark of the covenant of the Lord with shouts, with the sounding of ram's horns and trumpets, and of cymbals, and the playing of lyres and harps. This was the beginning of the first organized music ministry in Scripture. It was David's idea, and it was created to send up worship and praise before the ark of the covenant of the Lord 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. This ministry was carried out by the Levites. 1 Chronicles chapter 9, verse 33 says this, "Those who were musicians, heads of the Levite family, stayed in the room of the temple and were exempt from other duties because they were responsible for the work day and night." In our next session, we're going to talk about God's call on the Levites to carry out this ministry, and then we're going to talk about the preparation process they were required to go through in order to carry out this ministry according to what God approved, what God would have them to do. Additional resources are available on my website, www.ewilsonjr.com. You've been listening to Eli Wilson Ministries, the Chenaniah Report. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, be blessed.